What's going on, everyone? Togevoir here, and today we're back for Week 2, Season 5 of the NPL, the National Pokeball League. As always, make sure you check out the official National Pokeball League channel. Link is in the description. We're putting out some pretty awesome content right now. Power rankings just went up earlier this week for Week 1, as well as Game of the Week, Sets of the Week. We have some really cool analysts who are putting in lots of work and getting uploads on time with some amazing graphics. This is really, honestly, the best start to a season we've had, uploads-wise, both from coaches and from analysts, and just the way it looks and, the quality of battles. Everything's fantastic this season so far. But anyways, my opponent this week, Razorwolf24, he's a pretty good friend of mine. Actually, not pretty good, he's a very good friend of mine. So make sure you do go check out his channel in the description below. He's been part of the NPL for all 5 seasons, currently the only member who is one to do so. So he is the most veteran member of the National Pokeball League, and because of that, he has a lot of experience in league format, and is a pretty strong battler, and has a very scary draft this season. So just right off, right now you should be seeing a graphic, it should have been up there since the beginning, that kind of shows my team versus him, laid out all nicely, but yeah, so my team, as you guys saw last week when we came off with a nice victory against the Phoenix Sunkern, is Jirachi, Togekiss, Hydreigon, Breloom, Snorlax, Rotom Heat, Blastoise, Frogadier, Megapidgeot, and Garchomp. And his team is Megalodios, which got unbanned this season and he picked up in the first round, Azumarill, Hippowdon, Ferrothorn, Blaziken, Skuntank, Tornadus Eye, Licky, Regigigas, Octillery, and Thundurus T. So, I think that the matchup itself is pretty equal, if not even maybe a little bit in his favor. I don't have a great matchup this week. I have some good checks and counters to certain things, like Megalodios is a big threat to my team, would be, except I have a Jirachi and a Togekiss, so I'm not even honestly sure if he'll bring that. And a couple of the test games, it didn't come, so that's one thing. But then again, he has good shutdowns to my Jirachi, and Hippowdon and Ferrothorn and Blaziken's a solid check, and it doesn't really want to take on a Thundurus T. So it's going to be really interesting, and it's going to be a tough matchup. Things like Hydreigon look really nice offensively, but then he has an Azumarill, and every time I'd bring it in, if he brought an Assault Vest Azumarill or something similar to it, he'd just get the ability to get a free hit on something, or possibly get a Belly Drum off, unless I ran Hidden Power Poison. But I didn't elect to do that this week. So yeah, but the team matchup is pretty interesting. Just going to go through kind of what I noticed straight off as the biggest threats to his team. First off, similar to last week, Garchomp is just a huge threat to his team. He really does not have a switch in. He has kind of offensive checks in Azumarill and stuff, but if Hippowdon does not come, he has nothing reliable for this monster. So I'm definitely going to be bringing that to the matchup. The particular set into it, I'll get. I'm actually not even going to show in the team builder. I'm going to save it for the battle. A little spice. But yeah, so we have that going on. I'm going to bring Jirachi so that I can take on Megalodios pretty well. And the other big thing, the biggest threat to my team by far is that Thundurus Therian. As you can tell, my only ground type, and therefore my only electric immunity, is my Garchomp, which is 4 times weak to Hidden Power Ice. And although my Garchomp does outspeed the Thundurus T by 1 point, I cannot OHKO it, as I'm not running Life Orb Stone Edge. So that's going to be a really big threat, because he can take any one hit from me, really even after rocks, and KO me with an HPI, so that's really scary. So because of that, I'm for sure bringing my Rotom Heat as a solid switch into that, especially defensive. He can Volt Switch out on it, but as long as I have rocks up, I'll be able to wear it down, and I'll be in a okay shape about that. Overall, there's a couple things don't think he'll come. His bottom 3 Pokemon, Licky, Regigigas, and Octillery, I didn't really plan for them at all in particular. Really don't think that they're the right matchup for them to come. Would be very surprised. Breloom's kind of a cool Pokemon. He has the Megalodios to check it, but I can always put that to sleep, and aside from that, it can put in a lot of work. Mach Punch for things like, Blaziken, Ferrothorn, Skuntank do a lot of damage. If he does decide to bring either of his two normal types in Licky Licky or Regigigas. Spore overall is very nice versus his team, as Ferrothorn does not want to take a fighting move. Rock Tomb to slow things down and hit things like Thunderous T super effectively. So that looks like it'd be cool. But anyways, that's enough kind of talking in general about the matchup. And so let's hop into the team that I created for this week. Alright, so first off we have Katrina, the Mega Pidgeot. And something that I definitely should have talked about in the original team matchup. He really does not have anything for this besides his Megalodios to take this on. This is the one reason I could see Licky Licky possibly coming, because it could take on a Mega Pidgeot fairly well. But because of Megalodios being his Electro Switch in and me not really thinking Licky Licky's coming, I am going to be running Toxic to try to get damage off on that, and then U-Turn to be able to pivot out. I'm running a Modest Nature. Even because I really don't think Max Speed Timid Latios is going to come, because he doesn't need it. He only needs enough to speed creep my Garchomp, and so therefore Modest is just better to hit harder, and I don't really care about the attack investment for U-Turn, as I'm not using it to do significant amounts of damage. Really only to get momentum and switch out on Latios and make sure he can't double switch out and pivot around on me. And I don't need any other coverage like Heat Wave or Hidden Power on his team, just Hurricane Spam is good enough. I didn't change this to female for the battle, who knows if it was actually female, but I'm going to change it now because OCD. Next, we have Turquoise, the Jirachi, max attack, a pretty good amount of speed. I can't remember exactly what that speed's for. This match actually happened quite a while ago, and I'm actually recording this at Sunday morning at 1:40 a.m. because I have been on the road for like the last 4 consecutive days, and before that I was been in Arizona, and I had my recording stuff, but it just wouldn't have been ideal. And after the Starbucks upload last week, I figured it'd be nice to have one at home, so I saved it for the last minute. Classic me. But anyways, this is a nice pivot. Geared to switch in to the Megalodios. I'm not fearing a physical set at all, as it's not a Megalodios. And the Thunder Wave to slow down that in particular, and really the rest of his team. Iron Head because obligatory Paraflinch. Fire Punch to take on that Ferrothorn quite well, and then U-Turn again to pivot around on this team. Is this what I want this to be, so I can switch in to the Megalodios, and then just U-Turn out and get switch advantage. Cobra Berry, so I can't be pursuit trapped by the Skuntank, and I can just switch out without fearing anything. Next, we have always the Togekiss, rocking the Waconberry. This Waconberry mainly for that Thunderous T, so I could take a hit, get like a defog off or something like that. There was something else too, just gonna flash to the dock. No, there was. Oh yeah, and possibly also a Thunderbolt Latios, as that's probably the coverage that he would bring to hit my Togekiss in case it was a Calm Mind variant. I could see him bring Calm Mind Roost, 2 attacks, some move, probably T-Bolt, probably Dragon plus T-Bolt coverage, and Togekiss would then be able to take one hit with Waconberry and encore it into that, and then I could go into my Garchomp, which would be immune to it, and do whatever. So that was the plan with that. It wasn't just for Thundurus. That'd be really dumb if it was just for Thundurus. Next, as I mentioned, my Spadef Thundurus Therian counter. I wrote him Heat, OOTP, Order of the Phoenix. You might notice some of the references that I have going on here. Anyways, just pretty standard set. Will-O-Wisp, Volt Switch, Overheat, Pain Split. Pain Split to have some kind of longevity, so I can try to take on longevity, not longevity, that's not a word. Just so I can try to take on that Thundurus for as long as possible. Will-O-Wisp, because it's really nice to spread status around on his team for things like Azumarill, and that is the reason I have the speed on this, is so I can outspeed Azumarill, even if it is max speed, get a Will-O-Wisp on it, that'll stop any belly drum shenanigans. Something else you might have noticed, there's nothing really you can belly drum on. I have pretty much the same amount of speed. I have enough speed also for a Jolly Azumarill on my Togekiss. I could Encore it into a Belly Drum, and Aqua Jet could not take me out as long as rocks were on the field and I was at a good amount of HP. And I could also Air Slash it to death to prevent it from even getting a Belly Drum in the first place. Iron Head, gonna flinch that thing. Hurricane to 2-hit KO, unless he's Assault Vest, but then he's not Belly Drum. This can Will-O-Wisp it. And finally, my Scarf Breloom gonna ensure that Azumarill is not really a threat to me at all. Got the Spore, so another provision I have for Calm Mind Latias is to outspeed it, Spore, hope it stays asleep for a couple of turns, then switch out into my Garchomp and hit it with a Dragon move. It's nice for taking on things like Hippowdon, which my team could have a little bit of trouble, especially with a Spadef Hippowdon. Before then, possibly Superpower, because since I'm Scarf, I really didn't feel like I needed Mach Punch, and it hits Ferrothorn a lot harder. Rock Tomb to slow things down, especially for the Thunderous T, and especially if my Scarf gets knocked off, then I'm going to have a nice time slowing things down, putting them to sleep, and spamming Bullet Seed or Superpower. So, anyways, I'm not going to review my Garchomp set, we'll do that in the battle. And yeah, this is basically my team preview, and we'll hop into the match in just... Alright, so here we are in the battle versus Razor in the New York Metangs. Just a couple big surprises at team preview. I'm so surprised to see the Octillery especially. The Regigigas, I know that Razor has a special affinity for it. He had it last year. He really enjoyed using it, and it even put in a good amount of work in one match in particular. So I don't think it's a good bring against my team, but I wasn't necessarily the most surprised to see it. Octillery, on the other hand, excuse me, just really befuddles me, and I'm not sure why he brought it. But anyways, the other four make total sense. I'm assuming Skuntank is there to defog and keep hazards, or obviously by keeping hazards off his team, and probably Pursuit Trap my Jirachi. Thunderous T, because it's just a gigantic threat to my team. I'm really surprised to not see Blaziken. In all the test matches I had, I'd seen an agility or even a double dance Blaziken that had been really scary to my team. Something I was pretty worried about. Something between my Garchomp and my Togekiss I could have taken on pretty well, and the Rotom Heat, of course. But nonetheless, he didn't bring it and opted for these 6. Don't have a lot else to say. Looking at the lead matchup, I decided to go with Jirachi to try to get a U-turn off. I kind of thought Thunderous would lead, but and that's not the ideal lead versus Jirachi, but in case he did want to lead straight out with Mega Latias or any of his other Mons, Jirachi would have outsped them and U-turned out, so I figured for the most part it'd be fine. But he does decide to lead Thunderous T, not too surprising at all. But I decided my best play at this point is just to get the momentum instead of letting him get the momentum by going into my Rotom Heat. So I go for the slow U-turn on it. I take a lot of damage from that, so I'm not really sure what it is. It's not Specs damage at all because I'm not too invested in Fidef. But I'm going to actually just back up here. I was going a little fast. But, so yeah, so he's going to Volt Switch. I'm sorry, guys. But he's going to Volt Switch into his Octillery, which I U-turn out into, and I decided to go straight into my Breloom here. And now, right here, I didn't want to go straight for the Bullet Seed and give something like a Skuntank a free switch in. I didn't want to go straight for a Spore and have like a Skuntank or something be Safety Goggles, as I thought that'd be a very logical set for him to bring. So I decided to make a switch into Rotom Heat right here, because that could take on Skuntank and just burn it, and then he couldn't really touch me. And I could burn something else, maybe on a prediction or Volt Switch around, and so that's what I decided to do. But he opts to just go straight for the Flamethrower here, and now I decide to go for the Volt Switch, and I'm thinking that he went for Flamethrower. That doesn't, I mean, I am Spadef, and so it's really hard to gauge the damage on that. But if he is Specs, there's no way that he stays in, and if he's any other set, then he's going to go for the Water move here. So I believe I just go straight back into my Breloom, and he does just go for the Scald, and thankfully does not burn me. So we're sitting pretty here. As you can see, I do go for the Bullet Seed, just to straight take him out, not wanting to go for the Spore and put this thing to sleep, because it's much more valuable to have a different mon on the sleep that's more threatening to me. He just decides to stay in, stacking this off. I don't really disagree with the play, because everything on my team outsped this thing, and it was pretty useless, so I think he made the right play there and just getting rid of it. No reason to really not to. And my pivoting allowed me to scout it out. Not that it really mattered because now it's dead, but I still think I'm in a pretty good position, up 6-5, with only a little bit of damage on this, as well as my Ladia, as well as my Jirachi. So now that his Mega Latias comes in, I just have to go. I just had to go straight to my Togekiss, as my Jirachi is already hurt, and I don't want to risk taking something like a Shadow Ball if he did want to make that play, as it is a little bit of more of the obvious switch, resisting both the stabs. But right here, I predicted switch out into Thunderous T, but I didn't want to make an aggressive over prediction into my Rotom Heat as he went for a Calm Mind or something. So I just went for the Roost, thinking it to be my safest play, and then if he did stay in there and go for a Calm Mind or something, I could Encore him and I'd be in a great position. But he goes to his Thunderous, and I just make the play straight out into Rotom Heat. He tries to make the aggressive play and go for the HP Ice, predicting the possible Garchomp. As looking at my team right now and from what he's seen, it's logical for it to be my Stealth Rocker, so him thinking I want to bring it in and get Rocks up is not an unreasonable play at all, but I know that that's a possibility of him going straight for the HP Ice, and Garchomp is really looking like a big threat to his team, so I definitely don't want to get rid of that. So I go straight into my Rotom Heat, and right here, I just decide to make a pretty aggressive play and go for the Will-O-Wisp, but it was also pretty safe, barring that he was not a substitute variant. Actually, if he was a substitute, like a sub-nasty plot, Thunderous T, that would have just straight killed me. Like, there was, honestly, that was just hard to bring. Sub-lefty, I didn't see lefties on it before, so I really wasn't too worried about it. But, being a substitute variant, but a sub-nasty plot variant, because my only way to hit it on the Rotom was Overheat, would really have just shit on me, and, I didn't honestly think about it while playing this match, and really an oversight in prep. Had he brought that, probably would have been 6-0, but thankfully he didn't, and I'm just going to go straight into my Jirachi on the Psyshock this time. Right here, takes burn damage, but he's going to reveal that he's pretty much max special attack, and he's just going to take me out with the Shadow Ball, which is very, very threatening, but he's hurt by the burn, and at this point my Pidgeot's able to come in, and I believe that I just go straight for the Hurricane. I did get a good amount of damage off on that Thunderous, and then I just go straight into my Rotom Heat. Actually, I didn't see that it wasn't leftovers at that point, so it definitely could have been. I'm just a bad player. But anyways, he tries to make the aggressive play again with the HP Ice, but I do not let that happen. So I go straight into this, and right here I go for the Overheat, thinking maybe he would stay in. It does a decent amount of damage to his Reginaldo, and then right here he makes a very nice play going back into his Latias, knowing that it's not in his interest at all to let me Will-O-Wisp him, so of course that's going to be the correct play to make. And right here he doubles back out into Thunderous T, predicting my Togekiss. A great double on his part, as it really lets him get back momentum, but unfortunately for me, he has the Rotom Heat here, and he knows how big Garchomp is a threat to his team. He knows how big it is of a threat to his team. So he's going to go for the aggressive HP Ice again, hoping eventually that I will make the play, predicting him to switch up his moves. I do not. There's no way that I ever switch in my Garchomp on this. I'd switch in and sack any of my other Mons. Thunderous T is kind of showing a kind of weakness to my team prep in general. Or my team draft, being very weak to electric overall. But yeah, I'm gonna pause 1 second. Someone's messaging me. Nope, never mind. Showdown's just dumb. But as I was saying, electric can be a little bit annoying to my team, especially electric plus ice, which is basically any electric type with HP ice. But right now, my Spadef Rotom Heat's really doing a lot of work for me, which I can be thankful of. It's put me in a good position in this battle. He's going to go straight for the T-Bolt, as I finally bite and go for a Volt Switch. So again, Razor made a very nice play, trying to overpredict him. And then right here, I think he catches me going for the Overheat again, or no, I'm pretty sure I Wisp here. Nope, I Pain Split. I am dumb. This battle's been way too long ago, but I do make a really good play and go for the Pain Split there. Gets me up to 79%, ensuring that I won't be worn down by the Latias. And then right here, I think he just assumes that, that I won't go... Oh gosh, excuse me. He just assumes that I won't go for the Wisp here, or he doesn't care anymore. Either way, I didn't really talk to him about this play afterward. Probably should have, because it was pretty influential, as you will see. But I managed to get the Will-O-Wisp on this, completely crippling it, combined with the Snowstar, as he Confused Rays me, making me think this is the set that he usually brings, which is like Confused Ray, sub T-Wave, return, which is kind of threatening, but right here, I think he'll just go for the T-Wave, predicting my switch and anything else, but it does not affect my Garchomp, and straight away, I'm going to be able to get a substitute off, as this is my set. I am a substitute Swords Dance Garchomp, with the Salac Berry, but I'm not going to go to my Salac range, because it's my best interest to stay at a higher range of health. That way I can take damage. He reveals his last move to be Headbutt, by the way, so he's really going for that Hacks. But, I'd rather have the HP to survive the moves from the other Pokemon. But anyway, since I am max speed, I'll be able to outspeed everything on his team, barring the Thundurus, and with my attack investment, I have it basically evicted Oko everything on his team at +2, so he's going to bring his Azumarill in, and that's going to be a dead Azumarill, and then he's going to bring in his Thundurus T, and it's going to be a dead Thundurus T, and then he's going to bring in a Skuntank, obviously, and it's going to be a very dead Skuntank. So, that's going to be the game. GG Razor. I really think it came down. I think you actually played the game quite well. You made more quote-unquote plays than I did for sure, and you got momentum on your side very few times, but I think had you brought, like, the Blaziken and the Licky Licky, or the Blaziken and the Hippo, something along those lines, I think you would have been in a much better position to win this game. I really think it came down to those last two brings, really allowing me to put myself in a position to win the game, as you were down kind of 5-6 early on, and then I was able to utilize and brutalize Regigigas as a setup opportunity to win with my win condition Garchomp, which after getting 5 kills this season is now 7-1 on the season, and currently the #1 in the MVP race. But that's it. We're 2-0 plus 8, currently #1 in my division and the league. But what's pretty scary is Dylan of the Sydney Sharpedos is 2-0 plus 6 right behind us in our division. So that's really scary. And Jolt's 2-0 plus 7. Sorry, spoilers for the other matches. They won, but sucks to suck, I guess. Go check their matches out. Probably shouldn't have done that, but too late. Not going to edit that out because that would take effort, and I don't have that at 1:58 in the morning. And Jolt's 3-0 plus 7 also in my conference, so pretty stacked top 3 in my conference, and pretty scary looking towards the postseason, even though that is 10 weeks away. But anyways, guys, make sure you do go check out Razor and the official National Pokeball League channel for some awesome content from both of these guys. Well, this guy, Razor, and the channel. It's late, my brain's working, you know how it is. But anyways, that about wraps it up for week 2. Get attacked by the burp. Anyways, I'm Togevoir. I'm getting tired. You're yourself. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys next time. Peace.